This is the Road to Life plan, video 5. Step 10. Follow the rules of the Road to Life. Rule 1. Live in harmony with the earth. This is the main rule. For everything that prevents harmony with the earth is wrong, and everything that creates harmony with the earth is right. And the most important thing that mankind can do now to reach the goal of living in harmony with the earth is to drastically reduce our footprint on the earth. Let us end the poisons that have clouded our minds so that we can think clearly again and live like the Homo sapiens, wise ape we were meant to be. Rule 2. Respect the earth. The earth carries man and all life through space and protects us from space. She is essentially our spaceship, but in many ways the earth is also a living organism. The ground is covered with networks of mycelia that let the trees and plants talk to each other. We can't hear them talk, but we can't see the wings of a hummingbird move either. We don't know how all the frogs stop chirping at the same exact second. Many of us have been taught to scoff at the notion that the earth is a living thing, but we are so polluted with poisons, how would we know? A man thinks, I need the money for my retirement and to help my son pay off his student loan. So yes, I will sell the back 40 to the strip mine, but first I will sell the logs. The man has money for his retirement and the son pays off his student loans. Life continues, and now the son has a daughter with student loans to pay off also. But the son doesn't have any land left to sell. The end has been reached in a very short time. The moral of the story is that if we must cut a tree down, then we better do it respectfully, because if Mother Earth dies, we all die. If all the other animals die, we die. If the rainforests die, we die. If the polar ice cap melts and is not replenished immediately, we die. And our natural Mother Earth is so beautiful. She is worthy of the total respect and awe of man, simply for her beauty alone. Rule 3. Condemn no one. The Road to Life plan depends on all people coming together. We cannot come together if we are condemning each other. None of this is anyone's fault. We have all been poisoned. We must let go of all that and be friends again with a new beginning. Rule 4. Apply the 7-generation principle. Our ancestors, the hunters and gatherers, applied the 7-generation principle when making major decisions, thereby ensuring that their decisions would not affect life adversely in the future. With this principle, they were able to live far longer on Earth without creating an end of the world scenario than civilized mankind. We must reinstate this principle in order to get back on and stay on the road to life. Rule 5. Progress in a reverse direction. In civilization, mankind has always viewed progress as moving forward and spreading out his numbers and consuming the land and making his footprint heavy upon earth. Now we must work to progress in a reverse direction to lighten our footprint. The establishment of the volunteer workforce will allow people to use some of their spare time, if they wish, to restore the environment. We don't have to be in a giant hurry, but if our populations are reducing and we are restoring our environment and working to minimize our footprint, then we are progressing in a reverse direction. Instead of being proud of how much we've consumed, we can be proud of how much we've restored. Rule 6. Make returning to the garden our goal. As hunters and gatherers, our ancestors walked all over the earth in the proverbial Garden of Eden. Back then, the earth was abundantly full of all kinds of animals and fishes and plant life. It was utopia. Mankind wants to build utopia, not only for us, but for all the other creatures and plants of the earth as well. That's why so many of us go to nature for our vacations and why we try as best we can to make our own homes miniature utopias. People seem to scoff today at the ideal of creating utopia, but after money is gone, I think that utopia will be the obvious choice for a goal. Why? Because it makes sense. Without money driving us to build for money, then why would we want to build anything but utopia? Collective intelligence can once again help us determine the best means and methods to get there. But in short, the following paragraph describes my own personal vision of what I think utopia would look like. We begin by collecting materials from stockyards that we've filled with reusable materials we've taken from unneeded structures that we've torn down. Then we utilize collective intelligence for engineering and we build underground hobbit type of homes and connect them above ground with bicycle trails. Inside our cozy homes that are warm in the winter and cool in the summer, we have sophisticated internet networks. Above ground, nature continues unaffected, and mankind can have a larger population while keeping our footprint low on Earth by using community kitchens and doing vertical gardening so that we do not need to overburden the nature around us by hunting and gathering. How many people should we have in utopia? Anthropologists estimate the average population of hunters and gatherers on Earth at around 10 million people. Today's population is about 7.5 billion people. That is a staggering 750 to 1 ratio. I don't think we need to reduce the size of our population down to 10 million. We just need to reduce our footprint down to a size that is sustainable. Collective intelligence can help us define this amount, and achieving that amount could be the goal for our population level in utopia. Rule 7. Do not use money in any form. Do not use money for trade, even with foreign nations. Instead, give of your excess without return expectations. Do not turn trade into money. Do not trade items for service. If someone needs your help, then help them if you can, and in turn, you will be helped when you need it. Do not pay for labor or profession. Do not pay the military or for entertainment. Do not pay the government. As shown in this white paper, money creates an environment that causes mankind to become blind and act insanely. The basic binding agreement is enough to unleash this poison. It will take hold of any opportunity to work its way in again. We must all be on guard against it. Though the questions of life are many, there will be far fewer without money. Life will be easier and more logical. At first it may seem strange, but soon we will all know that it is the right way to live. Rule 8. Stop mocking our scientists and start listening to them. We must stop criticizing and mocking environmentalists and scientists who study the environmental issues of life. We select the smartest people we know and urge them into many years of training so that they can be our experts on these subjects. We have chosen them as our guards on our watchtowers. If all is well, we hear them yell, "All is well." And when danger approaches, we expect them to sound the alarm. But it does little good for them to sound the alarm if our ears are closed. It is money that puts out the propaganda that causes us to think science is a lie. It is the propaganda that is the lie, not the science. The propaganda is designed to distort the truth so that man will live in denial of the truth and more money can be made. But propaganda is not wisdom. It is our desire to smoke cigarettes, so we jump on board the propaganda wagon and we deny the truth. We don't want to believe that global warming is real because we want to continue our lifestyles with power and money. So we listen to the propaganda and we board those bandwagons and we live in denial. We become the patient who knows better than the doctor. We stop listening to the real truth that we know in our souls is the real truth. It seems that propaganda is used to distort the warnings from our watchtowers. These messages of science that propaganda attacks threaten the inflows of money into affected institutions. Did you ever notice, however, that propaganda is not used to distort science that makes money? There is no science denial portrayed, for example, in the developments of medical technologies, computers, automobiles, or DVDs that have entire movies on them. These things make money. It is only when something goes against the making of money that the propaganda comes out. This is how the poison of money affects us. Rule 9. Be ready to adapt. The Earth's systems are already in motion against all life on Earth because of the destruction of our planet that mankind has done under the influence of the poison of money. Storms, earthquakes, fires, floods, sea level rise, ocean acidification, and nuclear radiation threaten mankind all over the world, like never before in the history of man. Sometimes there is warning, and sometimes there is not. In the future, no matter where you live on Earth, you could be hit with a catastrophic disaster at any time that could ruin the land you live on. In order for mankind to survive, he must be able to move out of harm's way. And those who are already out of harm's way must be able to absorb the masses that run to them. With neighborhoodism, a volunteer workforce, and population reduction, over time man can come through. This is the most humane answer. Many people will die regardless of what we do, but mankind must try to save as many as possible. Collective intelligence can put the details of this step together, but we must be ready and willing to adapt as required. Rule 10. Let fear bind us together. Man must let the fear of what is coming upon us bind us all together on common ground. We must not hide from this fear any longer. We must no longer live in denial and hide our heads in the sand. We must face the fear, harness it, and use it as a power to help save us. Death will be all around us. We must not let it kill us. When the earth moves or the atmosphere swirls, fear will beat communally in the hearts of all mankind. Even now in our dreams, we feel these precursor waves of impending destruction. We all feel them in our hearts, even if we don't admit them out loud. The mushroom cloud is now in all of our dreams. Our Mother Earth is hyperventilating in fear, and we feel her fear in our souls. If we see with our hearts, we know these fears are in the animals also. The soul of the world collectively feels this fear. It is one of the common grounds on which the healthy future of life on Earth can be founded. Fear is a binding force. Fear is a life-saving force. Fear is an instinct that all life has been given. Fear transcends all religions, governments, money systems, and walks of life. When the fear strikes, the unimportant artificial things will fall aside. Money will fall aside. The road to life will join our hands together and form a chain to get out of this darkness. Rule 11. Have faith. Mankind is grossly divided now. Propaganda put forth by the poison of money has divided mankind to such a degree that some people will not be able to see the truth until they are confronted with the fear of death itself. We must have faith that as the collapse nears, fear will make mankind drop his pride and become willing to do whatever it takes to find the way out. We must have faith that people will learn the road to life plan and that these numbers will grow into a critical mass so that the road to life plan can happen. From those of us who start the plan of the road to life to all of us who see it into reality, we must have faith that when the time of whaling comes, all people will come together so that we can have a chance to save ourselves and the lives of our children and grandchildren into the future. We must have faith that with the elimination of the poisons of money and oil, the creative powers of mankind can reverse the damage that has been done, and that Mother Earth will see our sincere efforts and sorrow for the damage we have done under the influence of these poisons, and have pity and forgiveness for us and withdraw at least some of her anger. We must have faith that collective intelligence will help us do these things by employing the creativity of mankind. We must have peace in our hearts that as the earth reels in her painful lamentations, that mankind will finally come together and that it will not be too late. Step 11. Lead the world. Our American ways have led the world down the road to death. Now we must lead the world up the road to life. When we eliminate money and the world sees that we have changed and are sincerely committed to following the road to life, the world will not attack us. The world will follow us. This is what the world wants. The USA must be humble and brave, set the example, and lead the way. The USA needs a new image. Our ways have been gluttonous and selfish. According to Washington State University, the USA holds about 5% of the world's population, but uses 24% of the world's energy. The USA ranks as the 12th richest country in the world. We have the strongest military in the world. While many people in third world countries are starving, Americans have one of the highest obesity rates in the world. 34% of US adults are obese. The US led the world into the industrial age. We brought the technologies of alternating current electricity, communications, aircraft, nuclear power, and weaponry, and many other extreme technological advances into the world without proper consideration of the consequences. We sold this technology to the world for money, not necessarily to make the world a better place to live. Our actions have caused devastation all over the world. Many countries hate the USA, not only because we are so gluttonous and selfish, but because of the military occupations to secure our own financial interests. Many countries think that we are the bullies. This image of America must change. We can change it by following the road to life and leading the way. Step 12. Fulfill the purpose of man. There are many opinions for mankind's purpose on earth. Some believe our purpose is to serve God. Some say our purpose is to pursue happiness. Some say we have no purpose, that we are just simply here. I don't know about all these opinions. I do know, however, that Homo sapiens are the most intelligent creature on our planet. I know that mankind is far more capable of killing other life forms than they are of killing us. I know that mankind is the only animal on Earth intelligent enough to deflect a meteor away from the Earth. And I know that modern science has scanned the universe across billions of stars in search for life, and so far the only life we've found is here on Earth. Our purpose above all others, therefore, by default, is to watch over life on Earth. If we fulfill our purpose and return to watching over life on Earth, then not only humanity, but all creatures on Earth might be able to live another million years. Part 4. How do we make the Road to Life plan happen? We have already began. Here I will show you 5 pathways that we can follow. Path 1. Learn the Road to Life plan. Except for these last few paragraphs, you have heard the entire Road to Life plan. One seed has been planted in you. Soon the seed will be a glade, and then the glade will be a meadow, and then a valley, and then the world. Why? Because it is all that we have left, because it is the seed of life, and because it is in our hands. Path 2. Tell everyone about the Road to Life plan. I write the Road to Life plan and post it on YouTube for all to hear or read, as you have done now. You make this message go viral. Soon critical mass will be reached, and then mankind can make the plans, set the date, and change. This is the basic concept. I will be doing more, and I'm working on that now. Follow the Atom Soul YouTube channel for updates. Path 3. Ask the elite for help. We ask the elite for help. We want the elite to agree and walk the road to life with us. For this to happen, we must present them with a better plan than they already have. Otherwise, the elite will go their own uncertain and perilous way. We want them to see that the road to life is the best plan for them as well as for everyone. We want them to give us their secret knowledge. Our perception of the elite causes us to assume that they will not listen. But because they are so rich, because they are so close to money, they may understand the treacherous nature of money even more than us. Their closeness to money may be the very reason why they would hear the wisdom of the Road to Life plan and agree to it. And when they hear the wisdom and realize that it can move the masses, then they may breathe a sigh of relief that there is a better way and that they do not have to travel the dangerous and scary route that they have planned. The population growth of mankind is in a rising geometric progression. It may very well be that the reason the elite have chosen their frightening plan is because the size and complexity of the population of mankind has become unmanageable. If, however, they were presented with a plan that would bring the masses together, then they would have reason to listen and adopt the new plan. All we can do is offer the elite this better plan and hope and pray that they will see it and join us. It is time for the elite to give up their secrets and let go of their money and join mankind like the rest of us on the journey back to the garden. Their reigns have come to an end. They can come back now and join us, and we will give them way. And they can be free from the bondage of money like all of us can be free. They can give up their secrets and become the heroes of humanity forever. Or they can greedily hoard their money and their escape plans and then face the demon horror screams of their remaining lives in their underground tombs. The Road to Life plan depends on all people coming together. How can we come together when the first tendency of the common man is to blame the elite? That kind of mindset returns immediate rejection. We cannot think like that. We cannot blame the elite. Money is a poison. All of mankind has been poisoned. The elite are simply more poisoned than we are. And we don't even know that for sure. Everything is relative. A person in a third world country might think that even the poor American citizen is rich. Blaming anyone, therefore, will be contrary to coming together. If the elites think they will be condemned, they will fight to stop the plan, using whatever money or resources they have. This is not what we want. We want the elite to feel comfortable and join us. We want them to give us their secret knowledge. We want them to be our heroes. We don't want them to fear retribution. It's not their fault. We are all the same. We are all poisoned. We have all done the unspeakable things. He who is without sin cast the first stone. If the elite feel they will lose too much in the Road to Life plan, then they will probably not go along. The change to life without money will be a giant change for mankind. The lower and middle classes may like the change more than the upper class or the elite because they have less distance to fall. But the elite have a long way to fall. If they fell down to where the poor people are, the shock of the change would probably kill them. That would not be fair or right. And if they are going to die anyway, then what incentive would they have to follow the Road to Life plan? The falls, therefore, need to be in proportion for everyone, not just the elite. Basically, you start where you are with what you have. In neighborhoodism, for example, generally each person gets to live where they're at until something better comes up. And in this system, many better places will open up soon. So if you're a homeowner, then you get to stay in your home. You will no longer pay a mortgage or taxes or anything, and you will have the same infrastructure. But you will not get to keep your rental house or property you don't live on. The elite will get to keep their mansions, but they won't get to keep multiple mansions, and they won't be able to fly between them, and they will lose at least some of their hired help. This is something for collective intelligence to detail and for the elite to agree upon. The point is that we don't want the elite to have to fall so far that they won't join us. We have to be fair and we cannot condemn.
Path 4. Use the tools we have been given. We use collective intelligence. Collective intelligence will allow everyone to contribute. The following is an example. A lonely old bum in the city with no education and no teeth knows the secret to levitation, but can't tell anyone because he can only draw pictures, and he is dirty and he stinks, so no one will listen to him. One day he ends up in a public library, and with the help of a kind librarian, he gets onto a computer and signs onto a collective intelligence website. The old man talks to the computer by drawing pictures. While most humans wouldn't give the old man's apparent meanderings the time of day, the computer does. The man is heard. The information is recorded, analyzed, and sent for review. Soon, mankind knows how to levitate. The Road to Life plan depends on collective intelligence. We have the knowledge now to make it happen. When we combine collective intelligence with artificial intelligence and modeling and clear thinking after the removal of the poison, mankind will have the most powerful tools we have ever had in all of history. And without money, they will be used for good. Path 5. Seek the help of the new generation. We asked a new generation of young people to come aboard. We need their strengths and skills, and they need ours. Unlike our ancestors, the hunters and gatherers, every generation since mankind started using money has faced a new and different horizon. The new generation of man today faces the horizon of death, the end of the world. If I were one of the new generation, I would not want to die. Even if I appeared apathetic, without hope deep down, I would not want to die. I would want to live, and I would jump at the chance to live if I really thought it were possible. I would be willing to adapt much more willingly than my parents. If there were a plan to follow that led to life, that's the plan I would want to follow, no matter how difficult it was. And I would want any old codger that wants to insist on his old ways that failed to get out of the way. And if he didn't, I would retreat back into my apathetic world because my hope would be crushed. The future belongs to today's new generation. We older people have already had our futures. We must ensure life now for the young. The same is true for the elite and the old patriarchs and matriarchs who won't let go, but their nieces, nephews, and grandchildren will. They face this new horizon. Our horizons didn't look like this. We don't have the right nor the wisdom to insist our unknown ways upon them. It's their lives, not ours. If they want the world to come together, then we had better let them have their way. But let's not lead them down the same old path of lies that leads to death. It's time to change our ways. Closing statement. Professor Guy McPherson's terminal diagnosis for mankind does not take into account the tools that mankind has today, nor the potential we will have after the poison of money is removed. These things give mankind a real chance. We can come up with the inventions we need. We can make it physically possible. If it's physically possible, then it is possible. The Road to Life plan is the change we truly need. It is our way out. Albert Einstein said, quote, "We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them." Quote. Money got us into basically all of our problems. Mankind today is in desperate need of a plan for the way back to life. Imagining life without money causes the vision of the road to life to come into focus. When we eliminate money completely, our minds will clear and we will find and deploy the logical means and methods we need. We set up a new world, not based on the laws of our civilized past, but based on the wisdom of our ancestors of the far past who knew how to live on Earth. It is your world, young people. It is your future and the future of your children, not the future of the old. What do you want? Final note. Please note that I know I do not have all the answers. I know that I am not a genius or a scholar, nor a public speaker. I am just a man who discovered that mankind has been poisoned. I am the technician on the Starship Enterprise. I want to thank everyone who has helped me and inspired me. And I give my deepest respect and honor to all the people who have worked so hard and even sacrificed their lives to sound the alarm to mankind with very little result. I beg your forgiveness for not sending this message out earlier. I tried, but I wasn't ready, and I don't think the world was ready either. I hope we are ready now. And finally, I am grateful that while our last generations on earth stand looking at this horrific horizon of death, that we have one chance left. Our generations that face this horizon have been given gifts that no other generation before us have ever had. We have the World Wide Web. We have collective and artificial intelligence. We have hidden knowledge. And we now have the wisdom to see that the reason we have been fouling our own nest is because we have been poisoned. These gifts were given to our generation alone. We have our last chance. The ball is in your court now. Let's get it done. Adam Soul.